If you run an AI agency or you're looking to launch your agency and you're struggling with the Facebook ad side of things, I'm going to show you the simplest thing that you need to add or change within your ads to be able to get fantastic results. At this point, around 6 months ago, there was an update called the Andromeda update to Meta, and this means that Facebook and Instagram ads completely flipped on their head in terms of how they perform. In essence, because there are literally 3 orders of magnitude more pieces of content being put onto those platforms, what ends up happening is that Facebook can't sift through all of them. And so they changed the algorithm to use an AI to bucket and shorten the process so that they can figure out which ads they should actually run. And that really screwed up a bunch of advertisers because most people were used to using one hook and then switching out 50 variations for the same body to a video and then just running that for months and months and months. But at this point, those videos will now get bucketed in with each other and those videos will no longer perform. And so I'm going to give you the simplest way to break up your ads to make sure you can continue to put out variations that actually work without over expanding your mental bandwidth or blowing your brains out because none of your ads are actually working. So first things first, we're going to break our ads up into 3 different variations. And so the first one is going to be what we call top of funnel. So these are going to be your ads that get you in front of new people, right? We want to get new eyeballs of people that are curious or open to the idea of what your offer does and how it helps. I'm also going to tie this back to the states of awareness. So if we look at top of funnel, this is generally going to be your problem aware, right? Your people that are aware that they have a problem that needs to be solved, and then also your solution aware. So these are people that know that there's a solution out there, but they're not sure exactly what it is. They're kind of actively searching for a solution. And next, we're going to have our middle of funnel. And so middle of funnel is generally going to be primarily people that are product aware, right? They know what types of products are out there and they're just trying to differentiate which one they want to go with, right? You offer Facebook ad services, but do I want to go with you or option B or option C? And the last one is what we call bottom of funnel. And these people are your most aware. And what these people are looking for is they know who you are, but they're trying to get their final bit of certainty to get across the line, or they're just looking for a really good deal or a reason to pull the trigger today. Now, for each of these ads, you want to focus on something slightly different. So for top of funnel, you want to focus on getting as many open loops formed as possible in their mind. The reason we're doing this is because we're trying to grab as many people and hit as many people in the market as possible. And we want to create curiosity and interest to a point where we have at least that 1% interest where they want to learn a little bit more about what exactly it is you do. What you want to do is find the things that really speak to your audience's soul, right? And you want to go as broad as possible. You want to figure out, okay, what sort of problems is everybody dealing with? Why are those problems? What do they actually cause, right? And you want to get as visceral as possible in terms of making them tangible and specific. But you get those broad problems and you refine those down to specific ones, and you want to map those out on a massive doc showing, hey, here are different problems people are dealing with and funnel them down, and then here are different solutions people have. And I would want to organize that all in one place so that I can pull from that and I don't have to think of those in the future. So now our next step, once we get these top of funnel ads done, is we need to be able to drive these top of funnel people to your middle of funnel. And so to drive these people to your middle of funnel, you're primarily focused on education. These top of funnel people aren't like lower quality buyers, but they're just not ready to convert yet because they don't have enough information or they haven't processed it enough to understand why your general way of solving things is the best route they can go down. And so then education becomes our main focus for those middle of funnel videos. And what we're trying to do is once we have them educated and they're starting to learn more about our process, we now need to differentiate. Now, what most people try and do when they want to differentiate is they focus on primarily just social proof. And this worked really well like 3 or 4 years ago when not as many people were on the platforms. And so when they saw that you had testimonials, they were like, well, this person must get results. And it was an automatic way to build trust. The problem is now everybody has social proof though. And so it starts to create these question marks around, will this actually work for me? And so this concept comes down to a marketing principle called truth versus trust. Social proof is a form of trust, right? So what you're saying is, look at all these different results I've gotten people. I can get you results. Trust me. What's the source? Well, you can see other people have done it, so why couldn't I do it for you? The problem is there's still that question of, well, did you actually do it for those people? And if you did, how much work did it actually take? And there's a lot of unconnected dots in their mind. And so they have to, just like when you do a trust fall, they have to take a bet on you actually being able to deliver and you being willing to judge if they're the right fit or not the right fit. And they're not actually certain on their own if they're going to be able to get results. And so while social proof is a good thing to have and you need it in your funnel as a way of adding a authority, it's not the thing that's actually going to convert people because it's not the thing that makes you stand out. Instead of relying on trust, we want to lean into the principle of truth or objective facts. And so when we look at things that are objective truths, I look at things like light being necessary to be able to see, right? You understand the science of light bouncing off of an object and then hitting your eye, and that's why you're able to see. And so if there's an absence of light, obviously you're not going to be able to see. And then you experience it, right? When it goes dark, you can't see anything. And so there's zero question that light is a necessity for you to be able to see things. And if it's dark out, you're not going to be able to see anything, right? Obviously a funky example, but that's an objective truth. You don't have to trust anybody to understand that. And so what that comes down to are clear logical steps. So if we look at this here, we have our starting point, and then this is the end point. This is what our product actually gets for people. This is where they're beginning, right? If we're focused on trust, they have to be willing to make this jump, seeing that other people have made the jump in the past, right? And if they trust enough people and they're like, hey, you've made someone similar enough to me do this, I think I can do it too, they'll take the leap. But what we can start doing if we use truth properly is we create a very clear path for them to follow. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're there. That's the path we're going to follow. And if you walk them through step 1, step 2, step 3, and step 4, instead of having to make this one massive leap, right, they can make a bunch of little small leaps of faith, which when it's backed with some social proof and it logically makes sense, okay, all I need to do is I need to get 5 clients. If I speak to 200 people, at least one of those will be interested. So I need to speak to 1,000 people. I should be able to have 5 people interested, right? That math will add up in someone's mind, right? They'll see how it makes sense and they're going to be willing to get to that end outcome. And so our big focus with middle of funnel videos is doing the education, and we're trying to break down the steps that someone actually has to follow to go from point A all the way over to point B without taking that many risks. Now, middle of funnel is where most of the conversion happens, but bottom of funnel is where people are actually going to make the buying decision. And so there are two things that you need to be focused on when you're looking at bottom of funnel. The first one is going to be actually building a relationship with you as a person. They can believe in the actual system and the ability to get the outcome, but if they don't believe in you, they're not going to buy into your process. And the second thing we need to add is some urgency, right? They need a reason to act now. And so you want to give timing reasons, you want to give scarcity reasons, and you want to give actual urgency reasons. And I highly recommend you do not fake your urgency, right? I want you to actually look at, hey, why does it make sense to start this business now, right? Why is the timing good right now? And also create a product that is so good that it's not for everybody, right? Create a reason why you can only work with 5 or 10 clients because you have a very personalized service. One of the reasons so many people have reached out to me off of my relatively small subscriber base here is because I only work with a couple of people that are launching agencies or running agencies, and I give very, very, very one-on-one help. In most programs out there, they can have 5 students or they could have 5,000 students. It does not change the way they deliver the program. But with me, I give very personalized insights. I help them solve things. I work with them and I almost come in like an actual business partner. And as a result of that, there's this very real scarcity in terms of how many people I can work with. But that also gets a lot more people to pull the trigger on actually booking a call and speaking with me because they want to get in before doors close. And so in your bottom of funnel retargeting content where you're getting in front of the people that have already showed some interest and now been educated, you want to build a relationship with you, showing that you're a real human. And then you also want to show the urgency and scarcity of why they should take action on working with you now. So I hope that video is helpful in terms of understanding conceptually what types of ads you need to run, how they need to be positioned, and how you need to break them up into different ideas. If you want to learn a little bit more about the business model I'm running, where we apply these ads for clients and we get paid very handsomely doing it, I'm going to link a video here where I go over why I think the AIGA, AI Growth Agency model is the best model right now to start if you're a beginner or you're a relatively early agency owner. If you haven't already, I highly recommend you watch through that video. But with that said, thank you for watching and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.